Welcome back, Guardian. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to talk about a couple things today, one being the Ophidian aspect build. If you have your 1.0 version, that's awesome, but if you don't have that, the 2.0 is actually better because you can get enhanced impact induction and the reload on it, so it's kind of better, but I have a pretty good 1.0 roll that I'll be using because I haven't got the 2.0 yet. The second thing we're going to talk about is a combat tip from the Root Mind. I made this up back in year 1 of Destiny, but back then, soloing Nightfalls and stuff wasn't nearly as hard. Master level is pretty damn tanky, so there's a method that's going around right now where it's like you fight all the adds and you just have some dude hide. You don't actually have to do all that at all. There's a way easier method to do it, and here's the 1.0 method. So you just kill the left Minotaur. The first time you fight any of these Minotaur, all you do is you kill the left one, and then you just set the second one free, but you don't kill it. And what it does is it drops the Root Mind shield, and then you can start unloading hella DPS on it. So the only way that this method works, the 1.0 version, is if you have a full super and a ton of heavy ammo to melt him with, and you gotta be 960 and above in light for both of you to melt him in time. Otherwise, what'll happen is the Root Mind will kill you, or the Minotaur will kill you, and the spawn location sucks. It'll just keep spawning you over and over in front of the boss, and it's just really annoying when it happens. But the 2.0 method is much easier than this one, and all it does is it involves him rotating himself all the way to the opposite side of where he's at right now. But first I want to show you where you're going to have your teammate hide, which most people probably know about the hiding spot right now. I'll show it to you in just a second, but this is the respawn zone that happens on the 1.0 method. If you don't melt him right away, this just keeps happening over and over again, and it's really, really irritating. And make sure you have a good competent third. We found a guy off LFG, and he kept jumping down for some reason, thinking he was going to help us melt the boss, and we kept telling him, no, just stay up there. But that's where he'll go to hide. Right when you come up to the boss battle, it's the first door right when you jump up. You'll see it once you jump up there. You'll see the little path that makes its way. Now I'm going to show you the 2.0 method. Why this method is so good is it doesn't make him move at all. He just stays put the entire time. He doesn't spawn any more adds. All you have is that one Minotaur and that one boss instead of a bunch of other Minotaur and a bunch of other random adds roaming the map. You just have to handle that basically. But here's the 2.0 method. You just pick a Minotaur. I recommend the left one. Go ahead and just kill him, and then have your other teammate, the one that has the least amount of ammo, heavy ammo, needs to be the one that frees it, because you need to get yourself away from that Minotaur so you can start dumping more heavy ammo to melt him faster basically. But the main reason that I recommend the 2.0 version is because of where you spawn when you die. The 1.0 version, if you don't melt him right away and he kills you, you just keep spawning right in front of the boss over and over. The Minotaur sees you, the boss sees you, but watch as me and U-tippers die right here. The boss doesn't move at all. The Minotaur is the only thing that's up. And then if we do die, you just have your third sit up there. And then when you come back, all you got to do is just sit behind a wall and just start melting him the rest of the way. So he doesn't have very much health by that time of the battle. But the 1.0 version, like I said, if you're 960 and higher, you can melt him right away if you have full super, ton of heavy. But if not, this 2.0 method is the way to go. So that is how you do it. But like I said, make sure that you have a competent third that can just sit up there and not jump down and make y'all keep wiping and doing the whole thing over and over again. But anyways, there's no adds you gotta fight, there's no dude moving around the map, it's just really easy peasy. Now let's get into the Ophidian aspect, which is a really nasty build because it's really good against nightmares that can put their shield back up by having that incredible reload speed, especially once you stack it with enhanced hand cannon loader with anti-barrier rounds and stuff, as you see right here. The reload speed on this, it's Ophidian aspect, so everything reloads fast. But when you have enhanced loaders on top of Ophidian aspect, it's like having field prep all the time or outlaw on a hand cannon. And in my opinion, I think that a Better Devils with explosive rounds is just the ultimate primary to have on a Master Nightfall because of the shot speed and because explosive rounds do more body and crit damage to all targets versus non-explosives. Before Shadowkeep, explosive rounds actually did less to red bar crit shots, but post Shadowkeep, they actually do 10% more per shot, and they have more agility, and you can do shared damage by splash damage from the explosives. So it's a great gun to have for a primary on anything challenging. I'm not saying Better Devils does more damage than every gun in the game or anything like that, but when it comes to adds and how many adds there are, red bars, yellow bars, and the agility that you need to shoot around targets and stuff like that, sometimes having a more agile hand cannon is better than having like a sniper or something like that when it comes to ad clearing and stuff on your way to the boss. And that's where Better Devils comes in because you have a ton of ammo with it, and each shot you do is more damage than as if you didn't have explosive rounds. So you can splash damage at their feet, do shared damage to multiple targets. There's just a lot more options that Better Devils offers, and in my opinion is the ultimate primary to have. But anyways, use what makes you feel comfortable. Let's talk about the stats now and how to optimize it for the Ophidian aspect. So we're going to be using 6 plus traction, which is still 7 mobility, What happened during the update was it made it where you can see 5 stats go when you have traction on, but it still adds a hidden hold tier, which is a plus 10, actually plus 15. 5 you can see, 10 that you can't see. I tested that live during the live stream, so a lot of people got to witness that as well because somebody had brought it up, and it still adds an extra tier. You can't go above 10, so do 9 plus traction if you're trying to get max mobility. It's going to be an 8 recovery to keep you inside the battle, just that much more pushing. That way you can stay inside the fight if you're shield bust and get that recovery just a little bit faster. 6 discipline, that's 51 seconds, not counting impact induction or entropic pull or anything like that. And then we're going to get a tier 3, which is a 5-minute stock charge time that it was before Shadowkeep. So supercharge times are around the same as it was before Shadowkeep. And once you see the supercharged perks that we're adding into this, you're going to get your super back pretty fast anyways. So always shoot for a tier 3, but it really doesn't matter too much. But I would say just go for a 3 as much as you can. And then when it comes to your strength, I'm not building out that much for it because in master level Nightfalls, you're not going to melee that many enemies without getting shut down and killed when you try to get away. Now let's talk about the armor and how to put it all together, but before we get started, just know that your build might actually be better than mine by the end. It's all RNG how your stats roll out, so you may have higher stats, but try to copy them as close as you can. Starting off with the Overload Grenade, we're going to start with the chest piece first because there's 2 different options. Overload Grenades is for the Overload champions. It delays their ability energy regeneration and lowers their damage output. The second perk we're going to use with that is Disruptor Spike. That basically enhances the Overload Grenades and gives it even more benefit to you by lowering their damage output. This combination works really well for the Garden World Nightfall, but it may change depending on what Nightfall you're doing, so just max the perks based on whatever role you're deciding to play on your fire team. It may be Overload on one Nightfall, but something different on another Nightfall, and then Supreme Breaker if you just want to have that as a staple piece. If not, you could use it for a discipline mod, save those 3 points for something else. It's kind of just whatever you're doing. Dress your chest piece out to fit it if you want to, but there's still many more options. This is just an example. And now moving on to the second version, it's going to be a major resist mod. Fusion Rifle Reserves, it gives you around 2 more fusion shots, some more on other fusion rifles, but just around 2. And then if you're using Field Prep rocket launchers, then it's going to give you 1 extra rocket, but you're going to be able to hold 8 by having the Field Prep and this 1 rocket reserve on, 9 if you have 2 reserves on. And if you're using like things like snipers, then use the elemental affinity that matches the guns that you're going to be using. And then Supreme Nightmare Breaker, it is for solar. So if you're using sniper rifles and things like that, you might need to use a Nightmare Breaker on another piece of armor to match what you need basically. But moving on to the helmet, this is a 1.0 Menagerie helmet. I have the Hive barrier on it, so it's there when I need it, but it's not all the time needed, but there's that free slot, and I recommend having that because you fight a lot of Hive throughout this game. And then enhanced Ashes to assets and that rocket reserve. So with this build on, if I choose the chest piece with the reserves, it gives me 9 rockets. Now on to the Ophidian aspect. This is my 1.0 version as well. The 2.0 is actually better because you can put enhanced hand cannon loader as well as enhanced impact induction with this. But cool thing about this is I have a fusion rifle scavenger, which you can't do on 2.0. So that's kind of awesome to have at the same time. So 1.0 or 2.0, it really just depends on what you want. If you still have the collection tab, that came with impact induction. So if you have that sitting in the vault, the stats have all been reworked recently with that new update. So you can actually use this and get really beast stats on it. Now on to the leg piece. Copy the stats and all this gear the best as you can. Like I said, your stats might be better, but I have traction on this. Traction, the 6 plus the traction is 7 mobility. And then we have rocket scavenger, which is 4 rockets guaranteed, but it can get 5 sometimes because of field prep if you use field prep rockets. And then we have Hive repurposing, busting a Hive shield, gives us our grenade right back, so you can do double grenades on Hive all the time. Now onto the bond. Always recuperation. You're going to be touching a lot of orbs, and when you do, it's great to get your health back, especially in Master Nightfalls. We're using the Discipline mod to put us up to that 6 Discipline. And then Oppressive Darkness, which is 30% bonus damage. So it's like having Melting Point on a Warlock Titan or a Hunter if you're using Void classes. As you can see right here, slaying this whatever event that's going on at the top of the moon right now, which they has some okay guns, I guess. I got the Heretic rocket launcher. I didn't think it was that great. It has a ton of velocity, but when it comes to the way that it shoots and things like that, you can't beat a field prep cluster Sleepless with alloy casing and quick launch. It just can't be beaten, man. That blast radius is sick. The just reload times and the everything about it, pretty much. It's just the ultimate rocket launcher, and it may not do as much damage as other weapons, but when it comes to just overall agility and shutting things down, Sleepless is just the ultimate. But that's it, Guardians. That is the Ophidian Aspect build. I hope you enjoyed that. If you haven't used Ophidian Aspect, I'm sure you're probably going to see a ton of people making builds about it and being able to do that constant damage, getting that fast reload to stay doing the damage so they can't regenerate their health, and having all the stats and everything work behind it to where everything works for everything. You got great recharge rates for everything. You got great super recharge rates. You got that hella reload speed. You have the stats, the recovery, the mobility, everything going for this build to where it's optimized to turn you into beast mode. But if y'all appreciate this video, feel free to hit me up at teespring.com/Ristophilis or leave a small donation at paypal.me/Ristophilis, or be an ultimate member and join our beast squad and help out the channel by becoming that ultimate beast. You Guardians take it easy. Shout out to lifetimecontrollers.com. Huge deals, great low prices, and a lifetime warranty. My name is Ristophilis, and I will see you Guardians on the next video next time.
In space.